It was the very last day to submit college applications when I heard Clara tell her friends she had changed her choice. She had switched to the same university as Julian, the most popular guy in our school. Her friends started teasing her immediately. One of them asked, "What about your childhood sweetheart, Leo? Weren't you two planning on going to our city together? You've been talking about it for 6 years." Clara seemed to pause, as if the thought had only just occurred to her. Then, she answered with a careless shrug. "Oh, Leo, that's not a problem. He knows the password to my application account. He'll see that I changed my plans and he'll just do the same. He's always been attached to me, after all." I stood just outside the private room they were in, silent for a long time, and then I quietly walked away, pretending I hadn't heard a single word. That day, I never bothered to log back into the system, and I certainly didn't change my application to follow hers. What she didn't seem to understand was that while she was free to chase after the boy she liked, I also had my own dreams to pursue. The dream I had poured so many sleepless nights and long days into was never just about her. Clara's words had left me feeling like the air had been knocked out of my lungs. The promise we made to work toward getting into our university was something we had decided on when we first started middle school. When it came time to fill out our applications, our families had even sat down together, discussing it all very seriously before we finalized our choices. But now, without so much as a text message, she had completely changed her mind. Inside the restaurant's private dining room, one of her friends asked with genuine curiosity, "How can you be so sure that Leo will check your application again? What if he just doesn't notice you changed it?" Clara laughed it off, her tone full of dismissal. "He'll do more than just notice," she said confidently. "I know him better than anyone. He's the type of person who checks things like that 800 times a day, completely paranoid that he filled something out incorrectly and might end up in a different program than me." She let out a sigh that sounded partly like exasperation. "You just wouldn't get it. If you had someone trailing you like a shadow since you were a little kid, you'd understand what I mean." The whole room erupted in laughter. Still, the friend seemed unconvinced. "Okay, but even if he does notice, are you positive that Leo will change his own application at the last minute just for you?" Clara looked up from the game she was playing on her phone and smirked. "Please," she said. "Leo has never been away from me for more than a week since the day we were born. Who else would he possibly go to college with if not me?" Another one of her friends couldn't help but add her opinion. "Clara, and I don't mean this to be rude, but the way you handled this wasn't very fair. Couldn't you have just told him you were changing your application?" Clara's fingers froze on her phone screen, and she looked slightly irritated. "I honestly forgot to tell him. It's just so annoying, you know? I don't feel like having to explain my every move to him. If he found out I changed it because of Julian, he would probably throw a huge tantrum. Besides, it wasn't just a random decision. Julian mentioned he was nervous about going to the South all by himself, and said he would feel a lot safer if he had a familiar friend there with him." Her friends were quiet for a moment, stunned, but then they all nodded with a shared understanding. "That makes sense," one said. "With Julian being so handsome and with his family's situation, it's natural that you'd want to look out for him. It's not like your shadow, Leo, who is always covered in dust from his books. He really can't compare to the school heartthrob." Another friend chimed in. "Ha ha ha, it takes a special kind of person like Clara to sacrifice a passion for aviation just to take care of a handsome guy." The sounds of their laughter and the video game on her phone continued to drift out of the room. Standing outside in the hallway, I felt as if I had been plunged into an ice cave. I clenched my hands into tight fists. A part of me, a very large part, wanted to burst through the door and confront her right then and there. But my feet felt like they were made of lead, completely unable to take that single step forward. I just stood there silently for what felt like an eternity. In the end, I couldn't find the courage. I quietly turned around and walked away, leaving the restaurant in a complete daze. It wasn't until I was safely locked inside my bedroom that the tears I had been holding back finally started to fall. Clara's words echoed in my mind, replaying over and over again. I still couldn't wrap my head around how she could so casually abandon her lifelong dream of studying aviation. We had worked so hard for so many years, and I had only just barely managed to qualify for the highly competitive program we had both dreamed of. Just a few moments before I had walked into that restaurant, I was filled with a simple, naive happiness at the thought of us achieving our shared dream together. I never, ever expected this. The future I had fought so desperately for, the dream we were supposed to build together, she was willing to give it all up for someone else without a second thought. And even if she was going to change her mind, why couldn't she at least have had the decency to tell me? Was she really that afraid that I would cling to her? If she was that worried about it, then what did that tender kiss we shared under the stars on her 18th birthday mean? Our hearts were racing, and I thought it meant something. Had I completely mistaken a tipsy, fleeting moment for something real? Something inside of me suddenly snapped. The truth was, I didn't always have to follow her. Ever since kindergarten, Clara and I had gone to the same elementary, middle, and high school together. Everyone, including Clara herself, just assumed that I would always be right there with her, that we would never be apart. But nobody knew that besides my reliance on her, I had my own personal reasons for wanting to attend that specific university. It had nothing to do with Clara. Even if she wasn't going, I would still go by myself. I had unconsciously opened my laptop, but I immediately shut it again. I didn't want to see the application system anymore, and I had absolutely no desire to change my plans for her. She could go chase after the school heartthrob, but I had my own skies to fly in. With our paths now heading in completely different directions, there was no point in dwelling on what we used to have. After coming to this realization, a strange sense of peace washed over me. It wasn't a big deal. My mom was right. Everyone has to learn to grow up eventually. As for that kiss, I would just have to treat it like a random dog bite. After splashing some cold water on my face to calm down, Clara started a video call with me. My mind was hesitant, but my finger answered out of pure reflex. "Leo, why aren't you here yet?" she asked. "Everyone is here and waiting to eat. You're getting slower and slower." After our final exams, Clara's group of close friends had decided to take turns hosting dinners as a way to relax. Today, it was her turn. But I didn't want to go anymore. "I'm not coming," I said. "You guys go ahead and eat." Before I could finish my sentence, I heard a smooth male voice from somewhere next to Clara. "Clara, is Leo upset that I'm joining your friend's gathering?" Before Clara could even respond, a few of the girls' voices chimed in urgently. "Of course not. We're so excited that the school heartthrob decided to grace us with his presence. Leo's just a little possessive. He always gets upset when other guys get too close to Clara." Julian's face briefly appeared in the frame of Clara's phone, and he was sitting very close to her. He whispered to her in a considerate tone, "Clara, maybe it's better if I leave first so you don't feel awkward." Clara's expression immediately changed. She turned and put a hand on his arm to stop him. "Julian, you don't have to go. Leo's just being weird today. If he doesn't want to come, then let him. Let's start eating." Clara's voice was cold as she spoke, and she ended the call before I had a chance to say anything else. I felt a wave of anger wash over me, and, in response, I blocked her number. In all the years we had known each other, this was the first time I had ever gotten into an argument with her and blocked her. It was all because of Julian. Ever since he had transferred to our school in our junior year, I had lost count of the number of times Clara had gone out of her way for him. I guess girls just like guys who are clean-cut and handsome. During those months when I was buried in textbooks, looking like a complete mess, Julian never seemed to have a hair out of place. He was always wearing a crisp white shirt, looking fresh and tidy. We had argued about him 100 times, and had engaged in countless silent battles over him. I had even started to think that she liked him, so I decided to give up on her and began to distance myself. But every single time, Clara would come find me, swearing up and down, "What are you even thinking? Julian is just a classmate. There's nothing going on between us. Don't overthink it," she would say. She explained it that she just wanted to help him out because he came from a difficult family situation. Everyone praised his good looks to his face, but they judged him for his family behind his back. I believed her when she said that. Julian did have a complicated background, so I tried not to make a big deal out of it when they started getting closer. Besides, Clara had never lied to me since we were kids. If she said she didn't like him, then I trusted her. But as time went on, I found out there were more and more things happening between them that I didn't know about. And now, she had suddenly changed her college choice entirely because of him. It made me feel like a complete fool. Just as my mind was racing with these thoughts, my phone buzzed, snapping me back to reality. "Leo, you've got some nerve blocking me. Just you wait until I get home." Clara had texted me from one of her friend's phones. Without a second thought, I went ahead and blocked her friend's number as well. I glanced at the clock, grabbed my things, and started heading to school. It was the last official day to submit our college choices, and our homeroom teacher wanted to have one final meeting to go over some last-minute instructions. The traffic on the way was a bit heavy, so by the time I arrived, Clara and Julian were already in the classroom. The seat next to Clara had always been mine, but Julian was sitting there now, looking perfectly comfortable. He didn't even make a move to stand up as I approached, and his eyes were full of a smug satisfaction. Clara acted as if she hadn't noticed me at all, looking away with a cold expression. It was like she was waiting for me to be the one to make the first move and fix things between us. I wasn't going to. It was fine, really. I didn't want to sit next to her anymore anyway. I scanned the room for an empty seat and sat down next to my buddy, Sam, on the other side of the classroom, far away from them. "It's the final half-day for college submissions, so please double-check all your forms carefully," our teacher advised the class. "If you're still feeling unsure about anything, please feel free to come and consult with any of us teachers." After saying a few more brief words, she let us have some free time. I was completely engrossed in listening to Sam tell me some juicy gossip when I suddenly felt a tap on my head. "Leo, come here for a second," Clara called out. I turned my head and made eye contact with her for a brief moment before looking away, not wanting to deal with her. I turned back to face Sam. Clara, however, wasn't going to let it go that easily, and physically turned me to face her. "Leo, what is your problem now? I am so tired of this constant arguing. We're about to go to college. Can't we just stop being so childish?" she complained. Forced to look at her, I snapped back. "It is childish, and it's boring, so just stop trying to make up with me." Our eyes locked in a silent battle for a moment, and then Clara gave up. "Fine," she said. "I'm too lazy to argue with such a petty guy. Go ahead and keep acting like this. Just don't come crying to me later." I kept my expression completely neutral, refusing to even look in her direction. I thought she had walked away, but after a moment she turned my head to face her again, her expression dead serious. "It's the last day for submissions. Double-check yours. Make sure it's all correct." She was about to say more, but Julian came up to her holding a laptop. "Clara, can you help me with this issue I'm having?" he asked. Clara nodded, and on her way to help him, she gave my cheek a familiar pinch. "Did you forget your computer? Remember to use one of the school's computers later and double-check your submission," she said. "Don't mess up something as important as this." I couldn't help but think that she fully expected me to check the system, see her change, and follow her lead to X City. But she was trying to play it cool, never saying it directly because she knew that explaining everything would be a hassle. But it didn't matter, because I had already decided I wasn't going to follow. I watched Clara as she got busy helping Julian. Then I grabbed Sam and we left the classroom. We were about to get a cab to go home when Sam noticed how down I was and insisted on dragging me to a friend's birthday party instead. I didn't have the energy to refuse, so I just went along with it. After we ate, they all decided to go to a new bar that had just opened. As soon as we walked in, I saw that Clara was there too, at a party with her own group. We had a lot of mutual friends, so we all ended up crowding into one big private room. When Clara saw me, she seemed a little awkward, but she didn't say anything to me. I just acted as if she wasn't even there. On my way to the bathroom, I overheard Clara talking with one of her friends. "You should just tell him directly," her friend was advising. "Our city is pretty far for a guy to go all by himself." Clara just laughed it off. "No worries. I've told him multiple times to check his application. He's probably just mad because I didn't talk it over with him before I made the change." Before I knew what was happening, they turned the corner and saw me standing there. Her friend quickly left after Clara gave her a subtle signal. She then stood in the hallway, blocking my path. "Leo, we need to talk," she said. I rolled my eyes and tried to walk past her, but she grabbed my arm to stop me. The faint smell of alcohol was on her breath. I turned my head slightly to avoid it. As we stood there facing each other, she suddenly broke into a smile for no reason. "Are you still mad? I was going to text you earlier to come to the bar, but you blocked me. I kind of forgot about it after you made me mad in class." She sighed. "All right, just chill out. I don't know what your deal is all the time. By the way, did you check your submissions?" I kept my face blank, unwilling to engage with her. She was about to add something else, but Julian's voice interrupted us. "Clara, some friends want to have a drink with you." He paused, then added, "Sorry, I didn't mean to barge in on you two." Sometimes I honestly wondered if Julian had a tracking device on her. Every single time Clara and I tried to have a conversation, he would show up like clockwork. But I really didn't want to talk to either of them. As Clara turned her head to look at him, I slipped out from under her arm. As I passed by Julian, he grabbed my arm tightly. "I'm really sorry, Leo. I didn't mean to disturb you guys. You've been sulking all day, and Clara's not in a good mood either because of it. I didn't want to deal with him." His grip was surprisingly strong, and it hurt my hand, and I had to yank it free with some effort. Julian staggered backward, and his eyes immediately started to redden. "Clara, is Leo still upset that I went to your little circles gathering? Would it help if I apologized to him?" "You guys shouldn't be fighting because of me," Julian said as he stepped in front of me, looking like he was about to bow. Clara got mad immediately and turned to stand in front of Julian. "He just has a spoiled brat personality. Why should you have to apologize to him?" she said, then turned to me. "Leo, why did you push Julian? You should be the one to apologize to him. We're all going to be at the same college, so we should be helping each other out." I was done. "If you love to babysit him so much, you two can just take care of each other," I shot back, and then stormed off, ignoring Clara's displeased warning from behind me. "Leo, you're going too far!" After a little while, Clara and Julian came back to the room. Clara's face was stiff, but Julian seemed fine, just looking a bit sheepish. Everyone in the room, except for Sam, started teasing them for being gone for so long, making it seem like something more had happened between them. Even one of Clara's childhood friends joined in, not seeming to care if I would feel awkward. I guess to them I was just Clara's sidekick. The group started a game of truth or dare, and Julian drew a dare to sing a love song to someone in the room. His eyes immediately locked with Clara's, looking for her help. Clara shot me a quick glance, almost like a challenge, and then she agreed. In the past, I would have jumped up, angry, and tried to stop it. But now I didn't react at all. Julian was a regular at our school's performances and had a great voice. His singing was genuinely moving. I quietly downed a can of beer, watching as Julian sang passionately to Clara with a soft guitar accompaniment. A faint smile played at the corner of Clara's mouth. At first, her eyes kept darting over to me, as if she was waiting for me to interrupt at any moment, But as Julian's emotions swelled with the song, she seemed to forget about everything else around her. She sat up straight, her gaze fixed solely on Julian. You could practically see the sparks flying between them. As the song ended, Julian accidentally slipped and fell toward Clara. He was dressed lightly that night, and he fell chest first into her arms, the two of them ending up in a very awkward embrace. Everyone in the room started cheering, their shouts almost loud enough to raise the roof. Julian's face turned beet red, and he looked like he wanted to hide somewhere. Clara playfully scolded everyone for taking things too far, but then she pulled Julian behind her, as if to shield him from all the teasing eyes. That kind of easy closeness and familiarity used to be something that was just between us. Even though I had already decided to let go, seeing it still sent a pang of uncontrollable hurt through my chest. I couldn't watch anymore. Finishing the last sip of my drink, I left the room without a word. Sam couldn't stand it either and followed me out. We stood on the roadside for a while, just cursing and letting out our frustration. He told me he had been holding it in all night and had wanted to say something several times, but I had stopped him. Why ruin the mood? After all, soon enough, we would all just be strangers. I didn't know how things ended inside that room. I just felt completely exhausted. None of it mattered anymore. I got home just as the clock struck 11:55 p.m. There were only 5 minutes left to submit my college application. I felt weak all over and just lay down on my bed with my eyes closed. I couldn't help but feel a deep sense of disappointment. We had been together for over a decade. You can't just let go of something like that easily. In the midst of my sadness, my phone started to ring. It was a number I didn't recognize. I picked it up, and it was a drunk-sounding Clara. Her voice had a rare, sweet, and coaxing tone. "Leo, don't be mad anymore. Remember to change your college application. X City is great. It's right by the sea. I'll go surfing with you." Maybe it was the alcohol, but Clara's attitude was unusually gentle. In the past, even when she was admitting she was wrong, she would often use a half-threatening tone, like, "Leo, stop being a brat. If you keep this up, you can forget about going to Disney with me." And then I would obediently back down and forgive her. Because when you truly like someone, you can't bear to let things fall apart. But this time was different. The more she acted like her old self, the more it hurt. "Say something, Leo. Leo, is that okay? You've always wanted to go to the beach for a vacation, right? I heard the new campus is right by the ocean. You'd love it. Actually, our city is really too far away, and it's so cold there in the winter. You're so scared of the cold, you'd just end up whining all the time. If you really insist on going, I can go with you to Snow World during winter break." Clara rambled on, as if she was trying to convince both of us, as if switching to a college in X City was all for my benefit. I listened quietly for a while, but I couldn't stop myself from asking, "Clara, don't you have something you want to tell me?" My voice sounded choked, even to my own ears. I thought that if she could just be honest with me right now, maybe we could still be ordinary friends in the future. If she chose not to address it directly, then there was really no need for us to stay in touch. There was a slight pause on her end before she replied vaguely, "You already know, don't you? So why are you asking? You've been mad about it all day. You're such a sulky little thing. Okay, they're all good schools. You're still taking all the favorite courses you chose anyway. As long as we're together, it doesn't really matter where we go." Clara kept talking, never addressing the real issue. I couldn't be bothered to listen anymore. That was her last chance, and it was gone. I hung up the phone before she could finish and then powered it off. I glanced at the clock on my wall. The second hand had just passed midnight. There was no more room for regrets. It was fine by me. We had both picked our own paths. I guess we each got what we wanted in the end. I turned off the lights and lay flat on my back, forcing myself to try to sleep. But with my eyes closed, my mind was filled with thoughts of Clara. Happy, sad, funny, angry. every version of her I had ever known. We grew up together. Every single one of my memories included her. I never thought it would end like this. People always get particularly fragile at night. Even though I had told myself to be strong during the day, I could feel tears unknowingly soaking my pillow. Somewhere in that hazy state of sadness, I eventually fell asleep. When I woke up again, it was already noon the next day. I checked my phone and saw a bunch of missed calls and messages, all from unknown numbers. They were all from Clara. I ignored them. The messages were buzzing like crazy. A small group chat that Sam had pulled me into was bustling with activity. I clicked on it and saw that someone had posted a screenshot at around 1 a.m. All the guys were gossiping about it. The campus heartthrob made a big announcement in the middle of the night. How many announcements has he made since exams ended? This heartthrob has to be a rich kid. You can tell just by his watch. It looks like it costs tens of thousands. That's pretty daring. It really shows how people are letting loose now that exams are over. The screenshot was from Julian's social media page. Out of habit, I enlarged the picture. In the photo was a girl's side profile, lying on a white hotel bed. It was Clara's sleeping face. Even with just a quarter of her face visible, I could recognize it immediately. Suddenly, a sharp pain hit my chest. Julian's caption was incredibly suggestive. I walked 99 steps with all my courage towards you, and thankfully, you finally stepped back to me for the last one. This moment is true happiness. A lot of people had liked and commented on the post. Julian's replies to the comments were just as suggestive. Clara's friends were all in the comment section cheering them on. I felt my heart sink. So, they were already at that stage. Last night, Clara had been on the phone with me, trying to comfort me gently while she was with someone else. What a tiring act to keep up. My mood hit rock bottom all over again, and yet I felt a tiny bit of relief. Thank goodness I didn't change my college plans for her. Otherwise, I would have been a complete fool for the next 4 years. I shut my phone screen, forcing myself not to look or think about Clara and Julian. While I was just zoning out, my doorbell rang. I opened the door to find Clara standing there. The dark circles under her eyes were quite prominent. She was holding a box of my favorite sweets. I stood at the door, not planning to let her in, but she just pushed her way past me as if she owned the place and headed straight for the living room. She set the box of sweets on the dining table and habitually reached out to pat my head like she used to. I dodged it. "Leo, what's with the temper lately? I sent you so many messages and you didn't reply. You didn't pick up my calls either. Are you planning to cry and chase after us when we go on vacation?" Clara carefully unpacked the little cake, cut it into pieces, and handed one to me. "Come on, don't be mad. I took a half-hour cab ride this morning just to get you these. Eat up. I know you've been craving them. Then let's plan where to go for the holidays." I didn't take the cake. Clara gave a bitter smile and was still trying to feed it to me with a fork, but I subtly stepped back. "All right, Mr. Big Shot, don't eat it if you don't want to. You've always wanted to go to S-City, right? But you never had the time. This summer is the perfect time for a spontaneous trip. I already asked Julian and some of the others. We could hire 2 cars. It's more fun with more people." I just shook my head. "No thanks, you guys go ahead. I'm about to head out, so could you please leave?" Clara looked a bit stunned, and then her expression turned helpless. "Why? You've been talking about going there for years. Are you seriously not going just because you're mad at me?" She set down the cake and reached out to give me a hug. I evaded her, but she quickly snatched my phone. "Stop it already, will you? I drank too much last night and didn't get much rest. I got up early this morning just to make you happy. It's really tiring." I shot back. "Nobody asked you to make me happy. I don't need you to." Clara frowned. "Then tell me why you don't want to go anymore." I just stared at her, puzzled. "If you genuinely wanted to plan this trip with me, You wouldn't have finalized everything and then asked me to come along. Besides, me not going is for the best, right? You can have Julian keep you company. Why do you need me there to witness your happiness?" Clara let out a deep breath, a clear sign that her patience was wearing thin. "Yes, Julian is going. He also loves S City, but he's not the only guy going. Besides you two, even Chubby's girlfriend is coming. Why do you keep fixating on him? Did he do anything to you? Given his situation, he hasn't been able to travel for years. Now that exams are over, why can't he spend his own money to join a trip? The city's big enough. Surely it has room for one more person." Clara seemed truly exhausted, and her words came out without much thought. I was getting irritated, so I just nodded repeatedly. Fine. Go with whoever you want. I'm not going." Clara's temper flared. "This is your last chance, Leo. I've given you plenty of outs, so don't push it. I've already bought your ticket. We're meeting at the airport tomorrow morning. Go if you want to." She slammed my phone down on the table and stormed out. I had no intention of stopping her. I just watched her leave and quickly shut the door behind her. Her face was as black as coal before the door closed, and she didn't forget to scold me one last time. "With that temper, how are you ever going to get along with your future college roommates?" Her voice trailed off as the door shut. Back in the living room, I angrily tossed the cake she had brought into the trash. I didn't need her lousy cake. I didn't want to travel with her and Julian. Even her attempts to appease me, trying to balance her childhood friend and her new flame, just seemed ridiculous now. I sat on the couch, sulking. To keep her from affecting my mood any further, I decided to go on my own trip. They say it takes 21 days to form a habit. I figured breaking one should also take about 21 days. My mom wouldn't let me travel abroad by myself, so she agreed that I could go stay with my uncle for a while. Since I had already finished my college plans and had nothing else to do, I packed a light bag and booked a flight to N City that very night. By 10 p.m., I was at my uncle's villa, already enjoying some seafood barbecue. The sea breeze mixed with the scent of sizzling barbecue really cheered me up. I couldn't help but post about it online. Sam and the other guys were envious, saying they would join me soon. The next day, my cousin woke me up quite early with a phone call for me. The sun outside was shining brightly. "Hey, it's for you. A call from your lovely childhood friend," my cousin said, handing me the phone. I was still half asleep when I answered. Yep, it was Clara. "Leo, everyone's gathered here except for you. There's only half an hour until boarding. Why aren't you here yet? Why did you block me again? Your mom said you're with your cousin. Did he come to Town H?" Clara sounded pretty anxious. I took a moment to collect myself before calmly replying to her. "Nope. I'm at his place in Town N." Clara sounded a bit impatient. "Stop joking around. You were at home yesterday. Hurry up and you can still make it." I told her. "I already told you I'm not going with you guys. Don't waste your time waiting for me." There was silence on her end of the line. Then I heard a male voice quietly suggest to her, "Clara, Leo might really be in Town N. This is something he posted last night. My friend showed it to me." "Oh, right. Thanks to Julian for the reminder." I had almost forgotten that Clara couldn't see my social media anymore. "Do you believe me now?" I asked. Clara seemed too angry to speak. Just before I hung up, I heard her say through gritted teeth, "Leo, you'll regret this." I already did, but only that I regretted not coming here for a vacation sooner. The exhausting senior year of high school felt like it had been completely healed by the sun, beaches, coconuts, and seafood barbecue over the past few days. Once my cousin found out about what had happened with Clara, he got furious and kept trying to set me up with attractive girls, always finding new ways to make sure I was having fun. The rainy season in Town N meant that there weren't too many people, and it wasn't too hot. Beachcombing, taking photos, diving, fishing, water parks, bungee jumping. Each day was so packed that I would fall asleep as soon as my head hit the pillow. I barely had any time to think about unpleasant people. Clara and the others seemed to be having fun on their trip, too. The group chat was full of people sharing their photos. At first, I purposely avoided looking at them. But one day, when my cousin had finally given in to exhaustion and let me rest, I accidentally clicked on them while browsing my phone. Clara's group had visited a lot of places, and each landmark was captured in their vibrant, youthful group photos. In countless pictures, I saw Clara and Julian together, always in the center of Julian's 9-photo grid, making them hard to miss. They took solo pictures in front of endless mountains and grassy seas, crystal clear blue lakes, and majestic snowy mountains, all spots I had long wanted to visit. I couldn't help but feel a pang of bitterness. The world that Clara and I had planned to see together was now being explored with someone else. I guess no one is irreplaceable after all. When my cousin woke up and saw me brooding, he started lecturing me for being hopeless. "It's just a few photos," he said. "Anyone can post them. You know your brother has never lost when it comes to taking and editing pictures. I've told you before, you just don't put any effort into your appearance. If you just got yourself together a little, you'd have all the college girls swooning over you. You wouldn't even remember your old crush." From then on, my cousin dragged me around to take a ton of cool photos and made sure I posted them like crazy. No more oversized school uniforms. Now I was wearing stylish beach shorts and shirts that he had bought for me. He even forced me to swap my thick glasses for contact lenses and started making me go to the gym with him. "Changing up your hairstyle and learning about fashion is a must for college-bound students," he said. And boy, did he transform me. Even I couldn't recognize the new me in the mirror. I looked like one of those stylish guys I used to admire from afar. My mom was so shocked by the photos that tears welled up in her eyes. She couldn't stop exclaiming about how her son had truly grown up. My social media got lively too. Classmates flooded the comments with likes and amazed reactions at how much I had changed. They even posted the pictures in our class group chat. Their praise left me feeling a little shy. I replied in the group saying that it was all just editing. My comment came out at the same time as one from Julian's buddy who said, "Leo's editing skills are top-notch. You should teach us sometime." The chat went silent for a moment. Sam couldn't stand it and uploaded the original live photos I had shared with him to the chat. My classmates were even more impressed. Even our teacher joined in, complimenting me. I didn't realize our class monitor was hiding his good looks under a uniform. He has total natural handsome guy vibes. Leo's already good-looking without editing. He just needed a little polish to shine in pictures. All that studying obscured his good looks. Otherwise, we would have had 2 heartthrobs in our class. After that, the jabs stopped. One of Julian's friends made a snarky comment about how live photos could be edited too, but I didn't have to respond. Plenty of classmates came to my defense. Clara and Julian stayed quiet in the group chat, and Julian stopped posting about their trip from that day on. Not long after, my mom told me that we had received the acceptance letter from our university for the program I had dreamed about. I was so happy I cried for a long time. All that effort had finally paid off. But then, my mom told me that my grandma was sick and that I needed to visit her immediately. Arriving at the Town H airport the next day, who should I run into but Clara and her group, returning from their trip. I had heard their plan was for a month-long trip, but it had ended 2 weeks early. Clara looked shocked when we locked eyes. Even Julian froze for a moment. After a stiff pause, just as I turned to leave, Clara snapped out of it and hurried over to greet me. "Leo, are you flying back today too?" Clara's expression showed a touch of admiration that she couldn't hide. "I could hardly recognize you at first. I didn't expect you to look like this. Not gonna lie, you're pretty handsome." "Thanks." This was our first time being apart for more than a week, but as I snapped back to reality, I realized it didn't matter. I didn't want to make small talk. I grabbed my suitcase and made for the exit. My mom was waiting for me at arrivals, and I rushed over to her. Just as she took my suitcase, Clara's voice came from behind me. She had followed me. "Leo, why are you leaving in such a hurry?" "Hi, Auntie, by the way. Leo, you got your acceptance letter too, right? My parents insisted that I come back for the celebration banquet." "Oh, and remember, we said we'd have both families celebrate together? My parents have already booked the hotel." Clara glanced at me with an unhappy face, and then my mom covered for me. "Clara, Leo isn't planning to have a graduation party. My company is very busy and his grandma is sick, so we don't have the time. We'll just have a quiet family dinner to celebrate later. Please thank your parents for their kind offer." My mom explained it gracefully. She only knew that Clara and I had had a falling out, and that Clara had even changed her college preference. I hadn't explained all the details to her, but my mom was a bit upset about it, thinking that Clara was being reckless with her future. Clara awkwardly touched her nose and asked about my grandma. My mom gave a vague answer and politely declined Clara's offer to give us a ride home, then left with me. I went to visit my grandma at the hospital. The doctor said she needed to have surgery at a better hospital in J City. Everything was quickly arranged. I volunteered to go with my aunt to help take care of my grandma. Since my dad had passed away 8 years ago, my mom had been managing his company all by herself, and she was always exhausted. I couldn't usually help much, so I thought I would lend a hand while I had the chance. That day I flew with my grandma to J City. Naturally, I missed Clara's graduation party, although even if I had been in town, I wouldn't have gone. The night of her party, she seemed upset and kept borrowing other people's phones to call me. First, to ask where I was, and then to realize that I wasn't just late, I wasn't coming at all. She was really mad. Even her mom noticed that something was off and called to ask me, "Leo, are you and Clara fighting? Why didn't you come over after your beach trip? Are you mad at me, too? I'll have a talk with that girl when you come back, so don't be upset. You both have to head to X City for college soon. I got you a whole gaming setup and all your dorm essentials." "No, I'm not mad, Auntie. Thanks, but there's no need for that. My mom already got me everything. I'm not in H City right now. My family has some stuff going on." As I was trying to explain, Clara grabbed the phone from her mom. "Leo, that's harsh. You're missing such an important day in my life and giving such lousy excuses. What do you mean by this? We've known each other for 18 years, not just a few months or days. Do you remember that?" I had just left my grandma's room, completely exhausted, and was heading back to my hotel. "Clara, congratulations on everything. I can't come. There's stuff going on at home." Before I could finish, she started yelling. "How long are you going to play hard to get? It's been days. I've apologized so many times. You're even ruining my mood on vacation. Are you planning to stay mad right through to college orientation? Who's going to help you carry all your bags if I'm not there?" "However you want," I said dismissively, but I remembered that there were plenty of helpful seniors in the R University Newcomers group who had offered to help on orientation day. Without Clara, the world wouldn't collapse. Clara was stunned into silence as I hung up. A few moments later, I got a text from an unfamiliar number. "Leo, if you're so tough, then don't come looking for me in college. You'll be sorry when someone else starts dating me." I just shook my head, deleted the message, and blocked the number. I focused all my energy on caring for my grandma. The school posted a merit list online, and everyone's admissions information was on there. I didn't go back to school to see it. Sam told me that Clara didn't either. Her dad had taken her to their company, which was out of town, to get some work experience. After her party, she even left the class group chat. I think she really wanted to make a clean break from me this time. And that was fine with me. My grandma's treatment and recovery in J City went well. By the time I was ready to leave for college, she was safely back home in H City. I only stayed home for one night. My mom had already packed all my bags for me. The next day, she personally drove me to school. I didn't see Clara at all. It turned out that college wasn't as scary as I had thought. As soon as I got out of the car, a group of senior girls eagerly helped me with my bags and took them to my dorm. The guys from our city were super welcoming. In our major, all the boys in our year stayed in the same dorm building. Within 3 days, they had taken me everywhere to eat and explore the city. I thought I wouldn't like the food in our city, but it was delicious. They even took me to the public bathhouse on the first night. We all got comfortable around each other very quickly. While I was adjusting to college life and just starting my military training, I got a third love letter. Then Clara called again. "Leo, I went to your house yesterday. I wanted us to go to school together, but your mom said you had already left. I'm at the school today, but I can't find your class. What's going on? Which campus are you on?" I didn't even know where to begin. She still hadn't realized that I never changed my application to X university with her. "It's not about the campus, Clara. I'm not even at the same school as you," I couldn't help but say. "No way! You're kidding, right?" Clara laughed in disbelief. "Don't be mad, all right, I'll apologize. Let's make up, okay? Just head to the boys' dorm entrance. I brought you a bunch of food, all your favorite snacks. Don't blame me if I eat them all." I had to stop her and explain everything. "Clara, I think you misunderstood. My application never changed. It's always been for our university, for the aeronautics program. You know I've always wanted that. Why would I go to X City?" Right at that moment, my dorm mates called me for lunch. "Hey buddy, let's go grab some lunch." Their strong our city accent must have unsettled Clara. When she spoke again, her voice was like a broken record. You're joking, right, Leo? No, that's impossible. You knew I changed my preference. There's no way you didn't change it too. You're going all alone to our city that far away?" I sighed. "Seriously, I'm not joking. Clara, you never even asked me before you changed your application. How could you just assume that I would go with you? Moreover, you changed it for someone else. Following you would have just been too foolish." Clara rushed to explain. "But that night, the night I asked you, you said you knew. How come you didn't change it with me? That's impossible. Is it because of Julian? I really just felt a little soft-hearted. He was crying, saying he was scared of being bullied if he went somewhere away by himself. You know, even though his hometown is in Fujian, he hasn't gone back since something happened with his dad. Plus, he got in as an art student, so he didn't have much choice in schools. He's not like you, with your good grades. That was already the best college he could get into by luck." Clara was talking a mile a minute, but I didn't really react. All I could hear was, "Julian, Julian, Julian." Even now, she was only thinking from his perspective, never once considering my feelings. Julian's dad was a corrupt official who had been in prison for a long time, even though he had divorced his mom before all of that. But people looked down on his mom and him back in their hometown, so she had moved them to H City to start over. He was still just a kid back then. It wasn't his fault what had happened with the adults. But I didn't cause his problems, so why should I even have to care? Clara, since you care so much about him, now you've got what you wanted. We're just friends. We're not stuck together for life. Let's just not bother each other anymore. I hung up the phone, took a deep breath, and before I could even think about being sad, my roommate was dragging me off to the cafeteria. I thought Clara would back off after that. After all, we were miles apart with a ton of baggage between us. But the very next night, there she was, standing right in front of me. At that moment, I wasn't alone. There was a girl from my class standing awkwardly next to me. She was pretty and kind of tall. Her name had come up on the campus confession pages a lot. I was just about to ask her if she needed something. She had been sneaking glances at me while I was eating. "Leo, I'm Vivian," she said. "I'm the one who sent you those 3 letters without a reply. I just think you're really cute, and I seriously want to date you. Like, seriously. Could you please give me a chance?" Before I could respond, she slipped another letter into my hands, her face blushing, and then she took off. I hadn't even processed what had just happened when I turned around and saw Clara standing there. She looked kind of worn out from her travels, but in a well-fitted white dress and a light trench coat, she still looked put together. the same vibrant beauty from our high school days. With her dressy outfit and her laptop, she seemed to have rushed over from some formal event. Even though I was over it, I couldn't help but feel a little dazed. "I have something I want to discuss. Can we find somewhere to sit?" Clara seemed cautious, as if she was afraid I would turn her down. "I've got a class meeting tonight. We can just talk here," I said calmly. Clara had come this far. There was no way she would leave without saying what she needed to. But I didn't expect her to start with this. "You two barely know each other, and she's already confessing to you. That just goes to show how shallow she is. You should stay away from women like her." I retorted with a smirk. "Did you come all this way just to tell me that? Why is it any of your business? Just because I have new friends doesn't mean I have to stay hung up on old ones." Clara hesitated for a moment, and then spoke more normally. "Leo, I have no idea why you didn't change your plans with me. I'm really sorry. Maybe I was too sure of myself. I thought you would go anywhere with me, no matter what." I cut her off. "Stop. Don't put your choices on me. You're not going to guilt-trip me. I wasn't the one who changed plans first. You were. But you've always followed me to whichever school we went to. You even have my application system password. Why didn't you change it this time?" Clara seemed upset, clutching my arm and demanding an answer. "So why didn't you just tell me you had somewhere else in mind? Did you think I'd stop you? Why all this guessing game nonsense? Is messing with someone's future that fun?" I challenged her with my gaze. "No, that's not how it is. I might have been overconfident about our relationship. You forgot, didn't you? Back then, when I kissed you, you didn't push me away. I was planning to confess to you officially once we got into college, and I even had plans for us to get married back in H City after we graduated. There was never anyone else. Julian was just someone I used to make you jealous." Clara got a bit emotional as she spoke, and the corners of her eyes turned a little red. I shook her hand off my arm. "But you never once considered my feelings. That's when I realized that you didn't understand me at all. You didn't even know why I chose this school. You probably thought it was just because you wanted to apply here, so I followed you. It was never just about you. You should know that my dad died in an accident during a flight experiment. I often used to ask you what the universe had that was so irresistible, so worthy of him risking everything for those experiments. I actually wanted to figure that out for myself. The more I missed my dad, the more I wanted to find the answer. Did you really think I would abandon his dream just for you?" Clara was stunned. "But you've never mentioned any of this." I chuckled. Maybe she didn't expect that my casual questions were fueled not only by missing my dad, but also by a secret desire to continue his work. So all those efforts and all that sweat were never just for her. In the end, I told her everything. It was time to put those memories behind me. I'm still grateful for having you by my side after my dad passed away. Even when my mom was busy with work, your parents always treated me like family. But Clara, the moment you decided to break our promise, it was over for us. It started to rain suddenly after I left that day. My roommate later told me that there was a beautiful girl standing outside in the rain for a long time. I didn't react. I didn't feel like trying to convince her otherwise. Clara stood outside our dorm all night and only left at dawn. I didn't expect her to go home to H City instead of returning to X City. A few days later, I got a call from her mom. "Leo, can you please talk to Clara? She's been sick ever since she came back from R City. She's got a 39-degree fever and refuses to see a doctor or take any medicine. She's finally better today, but she still doesn't want to return to school. She wants to drop out and reapply to our university next year to be with you." I felt a headache coming on, but I answered without hesitation. "No way, ma'am. I won't wait for her. I've already planned out my college life and I won't waste any time. Please tell her to stop doing foolish things, or I'll lose even more respect for her." I heard something drop on the other end of the line. Later, I heard that Clara went back to school after her grandparents intervened. But I also heard that she wanted to attend graduate school in our city to be near me. During breaks, she would fly from X city to our city just to see me. Even when I ignored her, she would just watch me from a distance, leaving behind things I used to like. But by the winter break, I was seeing someone else. That would be Vivian, the girl who was super cool around others, but a total sweetheart with me. She sent me love notes 99 times. I couldn't say no anymore. Plus, her smile was adorably charming. She would slip in selfies with those notes, making my roommates urge me to take the chance. After Clara saw me helping Vivian down an icy slide, she vanished from my life for good. After that, I rarely heard about Clara. My family even moved from our old place. Years later, I went on to pursue my PhD, and Vivian stayed by my side. We both ended up working in a top-notch aerospace lab. When I think back on those youthful memories, they really feel insignificant now. There's so much more ahead, with an endless universe just waiting for me to explore.